Hey, it's me. And this is going to be the third day that I really work on Let It Die. But I have a confession, and that confession is that I feel really stuck on that song. Um, yeah, I feel really stuck on the song. It feels like there's different pieces that I need to have in place to have other pieces in place. And I want to try to work. And it's just been kind of a weird, past few days. Um, so trying to get back into it, and sometimes it's good to like have a break from it, and then other times you got to stay in the room. Like you don't run away from it just because like honestly, it's intimidating to write a song every single time. It's also really exciting, but yeah. So like part of me wants to just say, hey, let's just I got a bunch of records I can take in and trade in and get some new ones or something like that. And like so today I am challenging myself to stay in the room. And what I'm doing in order to kind of still be working on songwriting, recording, adjacent things is it is time for new strings on these two electric guitars. So right here I've got this is a Fender American Professional 2 Jazzmaster in the surf green. I love this guitar. It's probably my favorite guitar. I didn't even know that I was going to love a Jazzmaster, just because they're not like as ubiquitous as like Strats or Tellys or anything like that, but or Les Pauls. I've never had a Les Paul before. I've actually been kind of like curious about those lately, but I don't know how well. Yeah. Anyways, not the point. So I'm going to be restringing this guy, and the action's pretty high on it. I do like a higher action because I use this. I use really thick strings. So this actually just came from String Joy in Nashville. If you guys have ever heard of String Joy before, it's like a smaller company, but they're really I like their acoustic strings. I use their 13s, and since I like thick strings, just because I've got big hands and I've been playing for a long time, and I'm pretty heavy-handed. Sorry if that's super noisy. So these are 12 to 56. So these are called their balanced heavy. So yeah, and then like I said on my acoustics, all my acoustics, no matter if they're jumbo size or if they're parlor sized or what, I always use 13s because that's just you get so much tone out of them. Actually, my youngest daughter, I got her a like a 3/4 size. It was like a Martin Dreadnought Junior, I think, for Christmas, and it's got like tens on it. And when I had to restring it for her, and like as I was playing it and stuff, I was like, man, like I wish I want to work her up to at least 12s, because it just brings way more out of the guitar in my opinion. And when I play this guy, because the neck on electrics and acoustics are very different, and even the way you play them is very different. Um, and if you press down too hard, you can actually it's a lot easier on these to bend it kind of sharp. And so the 12s really help with that because I think this came with 9s or 10s on it, and it was just a disaster. I was just like bending it sharp all the time. So, anyways, we're gonna throw some. These are their Orbiters, balanced heavy coated nickel wound electric guitar strings. Thanks, String Joy. So we're gonna string this guy up. We're gonna clean her up a little bit. Then I'm gonna do the Silver Sky as well. So thanks for jumping in here today with me, and we'll see. We gotta stay in the room, man. This song's not gonna write itself, so it'd be cool if it did, but hasn't happened yet. So the first thing we're going to do is move the hygrometer. It's good to know what your relative humidity is in your room, especially if you're using acoustic instruments, because they can dry out really quick, especially when the heat is on. The heat is on. Anyways, ADD. So we got this guy. This is an Ernie Ball Power Peg Pro USB-C. So you can actually I have one of these that you had to like replace the batteries in. And this guy is rechargeable, which is awesome because there's nothing like having to change your strings and then running out halfway through, and then you have to like use like one of these guys to like hand crank it like back in the olden days. And also, if you are a guitar player and you don't love spending a ton of money on always anytime you have to get an adjustment, having to go to a luthier, which I do have a really good luthier in town, and he installs all of my like when I get the LR Bags Anthem pickups for my acoustics, I think he's done probably at least a dozen of those for me over the years. Great guy, knows what he's doing. But for like neck adjustments and things like that, I mean, it's just truss rod, you know, if you got to do that. But it's like these, like getting like a kit like this that has like, you know, different Allen wrench sizes, and like, and I added this to it. This is for like all like Martin guitars. This is the truss rod for the, or truss rod wrench for those. And like, I don't use a lot of this for like, you know, like dressing the frets and things like that. I don't tour right now, so I don't really need to do that. And I'm pretty darn careful with my instruments and to keep them clean. So, but yeah, so the first thing to do is to just, you know, there we go. Just like loosen these strings up. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but essentially you loosen the strings up, pull the strings off, and then I'm going to clean it really well. I've got, where's my cleaner at? I grabbed it. I swear I did. Anyways, I've got this guitar cleaner. I think it's something Nomad. What the heck is that called? Like Music Nomad, maybe. But it actually really smells good too. So not that that's the reason to buy it, but yeah. So pull the strings off, and then we're gonna clean it real nice, and then restring it, and then I'm gonna use this guy right here. This is like to check. There you are. It's like to check the height of the string off of the fretboard, because you don't want it to be too high. And you definitely, I'd rather have it on the high side than the low side, because like I said, I'm pretty heavy-handed. I strum pretty hard, and so I do want there to be that extra space to be able to, you know, so that it's not getting, you're not getting fret buzz and all that. So anyways, all right, I'm gonna do that and get it all cleaned up here. But I don't know, trying to stay in the room, trying to stay connected to the musical side of, you know, kind of what I'm going to do today, and we'll see if we can get some progress on the song as well. So cool. So strings are off. Man, this thing's beautiful. I love this guitar so much. I love these big old P90 pickups on it. So anyways, this is that spray I was telling you about. It's that Music Nomad. Just smells good. But yeah, I always spray onto the cloth. You know, I've seen people before when they'll just like spray down the guitar and then they wipe it all down. The problem is, especially with an electric guitar, like up here, that's like, so jazz masters have like, it's called a rhythm circuit. I don't really use it, but it's there, and you know, if you engage it, you know. But anyways, there's a bunch of I mean, there's like places where like that spray can actually like get in here, and I don't know if you guys know this, but moisture plus electronics is usually a bad thing. So anyways, spray this down, and then just kind of like, I mean, I just, you know, kind of go around, and I mean, I'm not going to do it all here in front of you, but, you know, just kind of getting it to a place where you don't have a bunch of like gunk built up or dust or whatever, because man, it's like, you know, I think about guitars like, you know, it's like, you know, if you take care of your shoes, they'll take care of you for years. Same with your guitar. That's why, like, I mean, even things like, you know, getting this guitar kind of like, I don't know, a toolkit, I guess, and then getting like this, like the neck cradle, and even like the neoprene kind of like desk mat. You know, I used to do this back in the day, and I still can, especially acoustically, with acoustic guitars rather. Like, I'll put them on my lap sometimes if I'm out at a gig or something like that, and I need to change my strings, which I don't really do that anymore because I always change them the night before so that they stretch out. But if you need to, it's in a pinch, not a big deal. But this is great. I love having just the tools necessary to do, you know, kind of just take care of and maintain the tools, you know, like guitars and basses and all of that. So yeah, I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and then I'm gonna throw some new strings on it, and then I'm gonna just check the you know, the string height, and see what the action is on it, and if I need to make, you know, little tweaks here and there, we can do that. But yeah, this is staying in the room. Okay. Oh, one more shout out to String Joy. I actually just started to put the strings on. I love that they send their strings, they're individually wrapped. So air, moisture, whatever, can cause corrosion on strings, and that's why even if you don't play that often, you still need to change your strings like with regular intervals, just because of oxidation and all that. And so, but they actually send them in these, like, they're like almost like foil packs. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I mean, and this low E is like a nice big fat 56 gauge, coated nickel wound. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna see how these sound. I've played String Joys, like I said, on my acoustic. I haven't put them on the electric yet. I usually have used some sort of Ernie ball, anything I can find with 12s, because 12s aren't super common. They're not like, there's not as rare as when I used to put 14s on my jumbo acoustic. But yeah, so Stringjoy, I'm not getting paid by them or anything yet, but yeah. So these are individually wrapped though, super cool. Well, the strings are on, and so now I'm going to use, this is a Peterson strobe clip-on tuner. And it clips onto the headstock here, and it measures the vibrations and tells you what pitch your string is. And I tune to a half a step down. So this, instead of this being E, this will be like a D sharp. So you always want to get your guitar up to its playing tension before you check the string height, because the tension on the strings is going to cause the neck to bow ever so slightly, or I mean, ideally ever so slightly. You want to have a little bit of relief in there, but so yeah. And I'll have to tune these, and then I'll have to tune them again. I'll have to tune them again because strings stretch out. But I want to get this in tune as close as I can, and then check the string height, and then move on to the next guitar. So staying in the room, working on things, not avoiding it. Right. Got to come up with some lyrics. Okay. Well, Juniper, the jazz master over there, is done. New strings on. String height looks good. Neck's got just the right amount of relief in it. No fret buzz, nothing like that. And so she's ready to roll. Now this is Sally. Sally is the Silver Sky. And Sally is a Paul Reed Smith, Silver Sky. But this is the SE model, which these are not the American ones. I think this is Indonesia. I can't, hold on, let me see what that says. I'm too old for this. That would be built, blah de blah, in Indonesia, yeah. So this is the guitar that when John Mayer left Fender, because he famously played beautiful Stratocasters for years and years, and then he went over to Paul Reed Smith and kind of designed this. I mean, it looks very much like a Strat, except when you get to like the headstock. And then there's other like, little, like the net, in here, there's some variations and things like that. But I love this guitar because it gives me a Strat sound. Since it's the Indonesian one instead of the American one, I think the American ones are like, I think they list for 27. I think you can get them right now for like 2,300 or something like that. And this is more like I think I paid $800 for this thing maybe. And so, but it sounds great. The pickups in it are great. I'll probably switch these out for the Corey Wong Clean Machine pickups at some point. But right now, when I want a Strat sound, this 100% does the trick for $800. That's amazing. So yeah, this is the SE, which there is a little bit of an ego, like, it's like you show up at a gig with an SE, you're like, oh, but like, you know what? Like, I don't play, even when I do play, I don't play electric live. I play acoustic live. So, love this guitar. Don't ever feel like getting the import versus the American made one, is whatever. Don't be that guy. So, yeah, we're going to do the same thing to Sally here. She's a sweet, sweet girl, and we're just gonna get her cleaned up and get some new strings on her and get her ready to go to the dance. So, all right, stay in the room. Got the strings off. I was reminded of something when I first got this guitar. The first time I did a string change on it, pushing the strings through, because there's the through the body. If you ever end up getting one of these, or if you already have one and you've had issues. Sometimes it's hard to push them through there in order to get enough on the other end to pull. Just take an Allen, like the skinniest Allen wrench you have, and then like slide it into that slot, and kind of push down with the ball end of the string, and that pops it right through. So hopefully that's helpful. Gonna get her cleaned up here, and then we're gonna put some new strings on her, and then we get to work on my Martin J40, which is one of my two favorite acoustics. Exciting. Staying in the room. Sally is restrung, cleaned up, all of that. So we're just gonna tune it up to standard tuning -1/2 step. So all the intervals are the same. It's just a half step down. So it's D sharp instead of E. And this like I said, this is a Peterson strobe clip-on tuner. I love these for their accuracy, but I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it's really hard to get it exactly so where the wheel stops going one direction. Okay, right there. Okay, this is boring. Probably don't want to watch it. Well, well, well. Look at the sisters over there. You got Juniper. Her strings are stretching out. You got Sally. Her strings are stretching out. They're both clean as a whistle, ready to go. But yeah, I like to let the strings stretch out a bit because once they're metal. Once they're under tension, they do need to settle in and kind of stretch out a bit. There'll be a little bit of retuning, at least during the first few takes when I'm laying down electric guitar layers. And now it's time for the acoustic. This is one of my acoustic guitars. It's the newest one. It's a Martin J40. So it's got rosewood back and sides. It's got a Sitka spruce top. I don't know why I can't say that. And this might be my promised land of acoustic guitars. And I say that, I've said that before. My other main acoustic is a Loudon 025, which is, again, it's a larger body. It's got a cedar top and rosewood back and sides, but it's got a totally different like sonic profile than this, and they're both great guitars. They're also pretty significant investment guitars, and so I like to take really good care of them. And over the years I've had probably 6, 7, 8 different Taylor guitars. I used to have a Martin HD28, Martin D35 Anniversary that had Brazilian on the back, not the whole back, but one of the pieces in the back. Martin 00015M, and then a handful of Guilds, and I'm trying to think if I've had a couple of Breedloves even, and gosh, what else did I have? Breedloves, yeah, and actually there are a couple of those Breedloves that I regret because I do a lot of trading. So like I said, so this guitar and my Loudon both put them on my insurance level guitars, but when you've been doing this long enough and you trade stuff in and you kind of wheel and deal and all that. So thankfully I didn't pay what this would be. I got it from Sweetwater because shout out to Sweetwater, that place is amazing. But yeah, so anyways, all I have to say, those are electric, this is acoustic. Those strings matter, these strings matter more because this isn't going through a bunch of like different effects pedal plug-in type things or anything like that. Like this gets compression and maybe like an exciter or something like that. So I'm still figuring out which strings I like on this the most. It came with these are Martin Authentic Acoustic Lifespan 2.0. So these are treated, like they're coated for extended life. Actually, so are the ones on those. I just put coated strings on there too. It just helps keep your hand oils from corroding the strings, and it just makes them last longer, as long as you don't play like an idiot. So this is what came on them. These are great strings, and that's what's on here right now. But I'm thinking about, so Labella makes great bass strings. I've never had their guitar strings before, but like I grabbed a pack of their Criterions again, and these are all 13 to 56. So these are mediums, so they're thicker than most people use probably. And then you got the silver plated acoustic. We got the Martin Lifespan 2.0s, like I said. And then like these are what are these? Are these Bell Bronze? Yep, these are Bell Bronze Earthwood Ernie balls. Then we just got regular. I think these are probably phosphor bronze alloy Ernie balls, both mediums again. These were my old standbys for a long time. I don't even know how old this box is. It's a multi-pack. These are just the straight up uncoated Martin Acoustic SP 13s. And then String Joy, which is what I put on there. I have enjoyed these on my Loudon 025. And so I'm trying to decide which strings to put on here. And if you're like, Jeff, I do not care about strings, I understand. But tone matters, man. And especially when you're trying to bring out the best out of this guy. Girl, sorry, Lucy, it's important to choose wisely. So I don't know what I'm going to grab yet, but we'll figure it out. Well, Lucy's all strung up, and let me grab this. So yeah, it'll take me a little bit. Again, these strings need to stretch out. I ended up going with the Stringjoy, the Foxwoods, which are coated phosphor bronze. They are 13 to 56, so they're mediums. Balanced medium is what it says, and I like them on here. The Martin lifespans were a little brighter. These are a little darker. They're both phosphor bronze. In fact, I don't think I have bought a 80/20 bronze set in, I mean, a decade maybe, but yeah. So they sound good. They're nice and loud. I mean, part of that is the Martin J40 contributing to it. But going to kind of clean up because obviously I got a big mess here because I've had all my tools out and a bunch of strings and everything. So we'll get that taken care of. And then I'm going to migrate over there to the recording desk and get started working on Let It Die, which, as I say it, I'm like, man, I don't know, lyrics are hard, and yeah, but that's okay, because every song requires effort and patience and vulnerability. So let's go. Thanks for listening.